Hey, welcome back to New Vision Garage. In the shop today, we have the 53 Willy's pickup truck, and we're going to try to get it to run today. Done a little bit of background work on it, and so that speeds up this video a little bit. And in this video, I'm going to try something a little different, and I'm not going to talk a lot. I'm just going to work. Follow along. I'm going to get the camera. We'll walk around the truck. I'll show you what I've got done in the background, and then we'll get started on trying to get it and run. So you see I took the hood off. I took the plugs out, and I squirted a whole bottle of PB Blaster down in there equally. I took the carburetor off because it was broken. We have another one up on the bench. All these wires have to be replaced. They're all frayed, big chunks out of them. I have all that marked. We'll have to fix that. We need to get the starter off and make sure we don't have mouse houses or walnuts or crazy stuff down in there. I took the interior out, cleaned it all out. There was a lot of, mouse stuff. And I think some squirrels had been in there too. But got that all cleaned out. Bed's cleaned out. Got the seats over here. I did clean those all up and disinfect them. I think I used 2 bottles of Clorox disinfectant. I don't want to get the antivirus or whatever could be present. I did get some brakes in. That'll be the next video where we'll put the brakes on and then try to take this for its first test drive. Should be fun. But for this video, we're just going to try to get it to run and maybe idle on its own. I have a fuel tank here for it. All right, let's get started. Just going to go to the positive on the coil. This one here is going to go from the negative side of the coil to the distributor. Now, I wasn't attempting to color code anything here. This is just a bunch of extra wires I had left over from the race car build. It's all 12 gauge wire. This truck still is a 6-volt. These two here will save because they go to the solenoid on the starter. We got to pull that off first. Well, we'll never see that again. A little too small. All right, let me bring you down here and I'll show you what I've done. Should be correct. Still got to find that screw for that top one. We went ahead and replaced all those from the, I think this is the regulator of some sort, down to the generator. And then the wires going from the coil here over to the distributor, and the wire going down from the ignition, the harness, down to the positive. So these here are, one is unknown. It wasn't hooked to anything. These other go to the solenoid on the starter. So we'll get the starter out first, see if we can get that to work, and then we'll worry about extending those wires down. All right. So down here is the starter. Right there. That's actually the solenoid, but that big piece down there is the starter. So it looks like a 3/4 bolt there. There's one on the bottom. And if you go up underneath, yeah, there's another 3/4 bolt there with a nut on it. And then right there is I think that's a brace. Let's see the windings in there. Anyway, so this is what I'm going to get off, and then we'll get it up on the bench, and we'll see if we can't make it work. I hope it does, because they're kind of pricey for a new one. All right, we got the starter out. So the first thing you want to do is pull these brushes out. When you do that, if I can get you down in there, if you look, a little light on it here. If you look right here, you can grab these metal bands, pull up on them, and then pull that straight up. So pull all 4 brushes out. That's where you start. Take these screws out here. All right, pull those out. Ooh. Set that aside. Now we should be able to pop this off. All right. That don't look bad inside there. Everything looks okay. Not bad. That off. Take these screws out. Pretty dirty down in there. I'll clean that good. Brass bushing here. It's a replaceable piece. I'm not sure why that's not going back in, so let's pull it apart. So what you got here is like a C-clip right here. You just pop those out. That's all that is. It just sits in a recess, holds that together. Pulling this apart, be careful because there's springs and caps. A little grease in the end of here. Now what I found was it had some burrs on it, so maybe that's what was hanging it up. I'm not sure. I guess we're going to find out. Make sure there's nothing on it. Put the shims back on the end. The line back up and see if the bolts go back in. Yep. Okay. Now we got to put these brushes back in. And again, you can see it there. Just pull up on the metal band. Get it out of the way. And then dip these right back in there. Just like that. And put that band right in the middle of them wires. We'll get them all put back in and I'll go around and make sure we're not touching anywhere. A little hook. Both of these grounds up here. But this thing just does not want to sit. Like I want it to. That's fine. I think we can see it there. Let's see here. Yeah. Let me get the solo switch hooked up here. Yep, now it retracts. And kicking it out, That should kick, it should start it, and then it should kick itself back in. Hopefully. Should spin it. So when it catches with the engine, it should kick itself back out. We'll find out. All right, well, we got the starter back in, got all the wires hooked back up. So I guess there's nothing left to do but give it a try and see if it works. You'll be surprised to know I didn't find that screw that I dropped earlier. It's shocking. How does it? Every time I touch this thing, it's balled up. Alright. Put this on the solenoid here. There's one here on this end. Yeah. Here goes nothing. We'll get the distributor cap back on and the wires and see if this thing actually has spark. But first I wanted to try the key from the inside and see if the actual key turns it over. And it does. Excellent. Now as long as that starter doesn't hang up, I hope that once the engine starts, it kicks that solenoid back. We're back to home position. I'm assuming that's the way it works because there's no spring return on the end of those, so it has to work somehow like that. Do a little compression test. Oh yeah. Good there. Good there. It's got compression. Now they get the rotor and the cap here. Got some new plugs too. Should probably blow that out. We're gonna put the cap and stuff on it. There we go. Doesn't look too bad. Where's the flat spot at? Oh, there it is. Alright. Guess we could turn the ignition on and flick the, see if we're even getting anything out of the coil. Oh yeah, I seen sparkage. Pretty clean in there, I guess. Let's go over there and put some new plugs in. 13/16. Move the other one out. Turn it over and see if it's getting spark through the spark plug. I see it. She's getting the sparks. Alright, get this one in. And before we put the carb on, we could just drizzle a little carb cleaner down in the intake and see if she fires. Alright. Number 4. Okay, well, it's been sitting since 1978, so that's 46 years. It's been sitting off the road, sat in a field for 2 decades, and then the gentleman I got it from, it's been sitting in his front yard for a long time. So I'm guessing it's probably been 15, 20 years since it's actually turned over or fired or ran at all. I can't imagine if it ran at all, it ran very good because all those wires were, it may have fired off, but I doubt it ran. Because all the wiring, the whole entire wiring harness was melted, pretty much touching. Insulation completely gone. Plus you've seen here on the firewall, everything was broken, split, touching. So if it ran, it didn't run very well and probably didn't run very long. So let's spray some carb juice down in there. Give this thing a whirl. But it's got spark, it's got compression. I'm guessing it'll start. Here we go. Oh, let me make sure the key's still on. Yep. Come on. It's sucking something up through the fuel pump there. Alright. Awesome. It's gonna run. I'm gonna throw a little 91 down there. See if she'll bust off. Okay. I think it's time to get the carburetor on it. Let's try it again. I got the carb on, but I don't have a fitting to hook to the fuel pump, so I'm gonna have to get one tomorrow. But I tried to fill the bowl as much as I could, so let's see if it fires off. Hey, so it's the following day, evening actually. It's super cold outside, bitter. I'm out of propane for my heater, so I can't stay out here too long. But I went ahead and got those fittings, some new fuel line, a filter, and we got this carburetor hooked up. I primed the fuel tank. I went ahead and cranked on it until I got fuel out of the fuel pump. It is actually working. You can see there's a little bit of water in the sediment bowl here. I don't think it's enough to worry about. I'll put some heat in it. But I did operate the carburetor a few times. It does sound like the accelerator pump is working. The battery should be charged up. I think it's time to see if it'll start with the carburetor. It wouldn't last night. I don't know. I thought it was leaking. Let's give it a whirl. Pump it a few times. Not only does it run, but it idles. So a vehicle that's been sitting for 46 years, probably hasn't been started in a couple decades, is sitting here idling. Amazing. See if it's got any oil pressure. Yep. Says about 45 psi. That's pretty cool, huh? Well, I still got the loser switch out here. Probably need to do a little adjusting on this car, but hey, it runs. Whoa. All right, let me adjust this. Turn it 2 turns or 1.5 turns out. There's half, there's one, there's 1.5. Whew. Let me open up the garage door. Now I did put about a full bottle of PB Blaster down in the cylinder. So that's probably some of what's burning off. It even looks like the amp gauge is working. It was on discharge before, but it looks like it's working. But we can go through that carburetor a little bit more. I still haven't checked the timing, any of it yet, so it'll only get better from here. But it's just amazing after that long. And it's just sitting here idling now. They even got lights. Clearance lights. And I don't have the back wired in yet, but the actual turn signals actually still work. The flasher's not flashing, so probably need to replace that. But you can see it real dimly. And these are 12-volt bulbs. These aren't 6-volt bulbs. So I got to get some of the correct bulbs for it, but even the lights work. Yeah, that doesn't smell like engine oil. It smells like that PB blaster burning off. So, but I'm assuming once they get it up and running and up to temperature, if it's going to leak, burn a little oil, it's probably from the valve seals or something like that. So, all right. Well, that worked. So at any rate, the next video I still got to do the brakes, and I have some new tires ordered for it to go on the factory rims and take these off. These were just put on there to roll it around with. So go through the brakes, get the tires on it, maybe button up those rear lights. On the next video, we'll do that. And then we'll take this thing for its first drive in 46 years. With that, please like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. I really do appreciate it. And until next time, take care.